am making a spreadsheet for a hobby about another hobby. There has got to be better things to do on a Saturday. I I need friends. I watched over 2 hours of Ashes of Creation guides so you don't have to. I took 150 tips from 9 different creators, including a 50-tip marathon from Sheelan, who's over there trying to win the Streamy Award for most aggressive use of bulleted lists. You've got a functional prefrontal cortex. We get it. Stop showing off. And I then synthesized them into the 8 ultimate strategies you actually need to survive early access. I have engaged in a Herculean labor of data entry. I have meticulously transcribed not 50, not 100, but nearly 150 pearls of wisdom into a sprawling, majestic spreadsheet. I have categorized and prioritized every single one, arranging them in a hierarchy of excellence based on the most fervent recommendations from the minds of your most beloved and occasionally tolerable content creators. Let's get started. Actually, wait. Before I start, I want to go off script here. You may be wondering why so many of us cover the same topics. And it's because you, the viewers, you devour these lists with a voracity that borders on obsessive. We may attempt to make an elegant systems guide or a detailed walkthrough, but you're like, no, we want numbers, please. Like we're the Sesame Street of YouTube, and you're demanding we count like flamboyant vampires for your amusement. Well, numbers you shall receive, my friends. I shall pander to your mathematical lust. But I must warn you, there is a finite limit to the things in this world that I can actually count. Okay, rant over, back to the script. Number 1, the most recommended tip from your Ashes content creators was about moving crates. We talked about mules, profits, and market dynamics as if we were titans of industry, rather than talking heads obsessing over the movement of wooden boxes. These tips included mule management, upgrade from a basic mule to a Tier 2 Moonstrider or a Tier 3 mule to double or triple your carrying capacity. And remember, you can also carry a crate on your back while your mule carries its own, significantly increasing the value of a single trip. We called out the certification bottleneck, so reputation is key with crates. Your ability to make high-value crates is limited by your certificate rarity. Even with legendary materials, a common certificate will result in a common crate. High reputation unlocks legendary certifications, which are required to turn the highest tier resources into massive profits. And of course, we talked about market dynamics and economics like we were people who read the back of a shampoo bottle and now think we're licensed estheticians. We called out that while longer distances generally increase payouts, over-farmed trade routes suffer from diminishing returns. Payouts can drop to as low as 20% if too many players are using the same path. We reminded you that you can only sell crates at rank 3 settlements or higher. Always verify the destination's rank before starting a run. And finally, we highlighted glint versus script. There are 4 distinct types of crates: market, citizen, guild, and settlement. Some use glint, some use script. Players can save their valuable glint by using the Citizen Commodity Station to craft crates using script, or you can save your script and use glint by going to the market station. Although, we do have opinions about spending your glint. More on that later. Also, I do think the market stations pay out better. I'll also call out at Technovision TV. They were thinking about your safety and wanted you to know that solo crate runners are high risk.
If you decide to run crates, always try to team up with a group of players instead of running them solo. If you're on your own, there's a high chance that you're going to get attacked by high-level players, as you see happening to me in this video, and you'll
The system incentivizes traveling in groups of 3 or 4 to deter attackers and protect the investment. Techno, I don't have any friends. Number 2. The number 2 tip that the self-appointed oracles of the digital airwaves deemed absolutely essential is managing, gathering, and profiting from materials. We gave tips on acquisition and processing. Falco recommended using metalworking or stoneworking stations to crush high-rarity stones to obtain rare gems and vital resource metals. There were at least 2 recommendations about using deconstruction kits, which are crafted by arcane engineers and are used to break down unneeded gear into a steady flow of resources. And at one PennyLoafer, that delightful sunspot in a thicket of testosterone, she recommended lowering your graphics settings while gathering to make resource nodes significantly easier to spot from a distance. There were some great recommendations around long-term resource management, including never discard low-tier materials. Tier 1 materials like copper and animal hides remain essential for endgame craftables. Stockpile runes. Collect river runes and sand runes in bulk. You'll eventually need hundreds of these for high-level enchantment scrolls. And pay attention to regional exclusives. Be aware that certain resources, such as tendonite from the anvils, are region-locked. You must travel to these specific areas to fulfill certain recipes. Although crushing stones does give you tendonite, but on a whole, it is a great call-out. Finally, in this category about materials, we wanted you to consider inventory control. Because storage is limited, it was suggested that you keep only the high-tier materials essential to your specific profession. Sell heroic tier items and below on the marketplace to maintain storage space and a steady income. Always sell raw materials to other players via the marketplace rather than an NPC vendor. Even a small price difference adds up to significant profit over time. And finally, anticipate demand. In early launches, and friends, we will have more wipes a-comin'. Buy materials for high-level recipes while they are cheap and the general player base is still low. Prices do skyrocket once the server curve reaches the level to craft with them. Number 3. For number 3, your content creators wanted you to know about moolah, dinero, scratch, lettuce, dough, cheddar, clam, smackers, grease. That sweet, sweet soul-selling paper. You guessed it, we're talking about money. Money in Ashes essentially comes in 3 forms: glint, gold, and sanctus script. I grouped all 3 in this category. Let's start with glint. It is the primary resource dropped by monsters, but its value depends entirely on how you use it. Many of us warned against the temptation to sell glint to NPC vendors for quick cash, unless you're desperate for repairs. Instead, store it until your settlement reaches level 3. At this stage, investing your saved glint into caravans and commodity crates yields a much higher return on investment. You can combine glint stacks to save inventory space, but the recommendation is not to upgrade them past the blue glowing quality. Here's at the Hidden Dagger Inn explaining why.
First things you're going to learn is just how valuable glint is. You can right-click on your glint and combine the stacks to save inventory space. That being said, I wouldn't go any higher than a glowing glint. If you go any higher, it could very well come back to bite you in the butt. As an example, I once had a glint, an epic glint, which was worth 10 gold. Well, I died and fell in the lava, and I lost 8 gold of that. So if you're in a long grind session, make sure you guys are going back regularly to repair and either store or sell your glint.
Also, glint is required for purchasing citizen tax receipts, which are necessary to maintain your citizen benefits. Taxes are due every 2 weeks, friends. Gotta be ready to pay Big Brother when he comes calling. Next is gold, the liquid currency used for player-to-player trade, marketplace purchases, and repairs. For consistent gold without upfront costs, we suggest that you focus on gathering and try crate deliveries. To generate gold quickly, it was suggested to farm high densities of mobs roughly 9 levels below you. These enemies are easy to kill in groups, but still drop their glint value. Here's Sheelan explaining more.
Find a nice high density and high respawn rate group of mobs somewhere that is 9 levels below you. They're so far below you, you can gather tons of them up at a time, murder ball them all down, and they all still drop glint. It's a great way to make early money.
Always have some gold or silver available because equipment becomes completely useless once its durability hits 0. Always keep a reserve of silver specifically for repairs to ensure that you aren't stranded with broken gear. Finally, Sanctus script, or what Sheelan calls marebucks. These specialized currencies are tied to settlement progression and reputation. To earn it, visit the requisition agent near the storage clerk. By turning in resources, you earn a reputation and script to spend at specific settlement vendors. Another highly efficient early gain method is performing construction crate deliveries found near Briarmoor or Avon's End, which reward script and experience. Settlement commodity crate runs also reward script. Why does it matter? These currencies allow you to interact with settlement-specific systems and purchase items that cannot be bought with glint or gold. Number 4. For number 4, our collective wisdom wanted you to have the essential strategies for mastering the Artisan Professions. 6 of us were practically tripping over one another in our eagerness to deliver this advice. You simply cannot be a jack of all trades. The game strictly limits how many skills you can advance beyond the novice level. You are capped at 5 total proficient skills, which follow a narrowing pyramid of mastery. 5 apprentice level, 4 journeyman, 3 master, 2 grandmaster. Because slots are limited, focus on pairs that naturally feed into each other, such as mining and jewelry, or fishing and cooking. Our philanthropic outpouring of tactical wisdom continued by letting you know how to advance your artisan skills. We talked about profession hubs. When you reach apprentice level 10, or 20, 30, 40 for that matter, you must visit static hubs like the one in Avon's Inn to speak with the artisan master to promote your skill. As settlements grow, the artisan masters may also be available in a town to perform this task. Once promoted, your basic tools will no longer suffice. You must obtain apprentice tools or journeyman tools or master tools to harvest higher resource nodes. We also wisely suggested using your alts effectively. Since a single character is limited to 2 Grandmaster slots, planning your entire account is helpful. Decide which characters will handle gathering, processing, or crafting to ensure your account covers as many professional needs as possible. Remember, your choices are not permanent, but they do require effort to change. If you wish to switch a specialization, you must manually demote your current skill at the profession hubs to free up space for a new profession. And if you haven't figured this one out, let me break the news. This game is designed to foster interdependence. Since you can't master everything, you must rely on the player economy for materials or items outside your specialty. Make friends, find guildmates with different specializations to provide easy access to the professions you didn't choose. Here's Falco expanding further upon this very topic. A word of caution for the faint of heart. The man indulges in the profane. He litters his presentation with the kind of scandalous vocabulary that would make a cleric blush.
Make friends. Make friends. A lot of people ask me what's the best place to solo level, and I get it. People want to solo level. I mean, that is just innately. That people have been conditioned to solo level in just games that are MMO-like, whether they ARPGs and just MMOs, like, you know, that's just a thing. But this game, the game of Astral Creation, you get more bees with honey, in the sense of you should definitely be making friends, because they're going to help you in multiple ways, whether it be killing mobs, whether it be they know a profession that you don't and you need someone to craft you some shit, and you trust them and they're your friends. Make some fucking friends. We're all old enough to understand that friends are useful and helpful and fun to be around, and they make the experience a lot more fun when you play the game. Make friends.
We are halfway through this ultimate list and reached a statistical stalemate. There was a tie for 5th and 6th positions. So I'm going to randomly pick mounts as the 5th top tip we wanted you to know about for early access. Of course, we talked about the 2-mount rule. Always carry at least 2 mounts in your inventory, because a mount's death triggers a 10-minute cooldown. Having a backup ensures you're never stranded on foot. Sheelan recommended that you invest in a shoal skipper to maintain movement speed during high-level water-based farming. We also included some tips about mount mechanics and care. These creatures of transit are inventory-based. They appear as physical items in your bag, not a UI menu. You must drag the item to your hotbar to use it. And a reminder that mounts remain in the world even after you dismount. You must manually desummon them to prevent mobs or players from killing them while you are busy. Number 6. For number 6, let's go with the strategic importance of citizenship and the political responsibilities that come with it. First, we all wanted you to know about securing citizenship. We talked about the process to become a citizen, which includes going to the mayoral hall and purchasing a tax receipt from the sheriff, using that oh-so-important glint, and returning it to him to finalize your status. We reminded you that citizenship is account-wide. Your main character's settlement affiliation applies to all your alts. This prevents you from influencing multiple settlement politics. We pointed out that timing is money. You need to join a settlement as soon as it reaches village status. Founding citizens lock in lower tax rates, whereas those who join later face significantly higher costs. We called out exclusive benefits. Citizenship provides priority housing and access to exclusive settlement-specific recipes, which include best-in-slot cloaks. Research the citizen cloaks, which are often BIS items. Note that you must remain a citizen of that specific node to buy and wear them. And complete mayoral commissions and buy orders to increase your reputation, which scales the benefits you receive from the settlement. Finally, we called out your civic duty. It is your duty to vote for the mayor. The mayor controls building construction and active buy orders. If the leadership is ineffective, the recommendation is to vote them out or run for office yourself. Also, it was called out that your mayor's personal reputation affects your gameplay. An aggressive or undiplomatic leader can drag the entire citizenry into endless, unproductive sieges and wars. It is recommended to choose a leader with a balanced PvP mindset. Number 7. We are up to the 7th most recommended tip from this collection of digital town criers. It is the commission system and how to maximize settlement growth and personal progression. Commission boards are placed throughout settlements to provide additional questing options. At Theory Forge recommends double dipping. You can pick up commissions for the same task from multiple different towns. Here's his explanation.
Now let's talk about commissions, because these are one of the most underrated systems for new players. You'll see commission boards in towns like Lionhold, Winstead, and Mirleth. Commissions are basically mini-quests. Kill X mobs, gather Y resources, turn in Z items. They pay out XP and glint. Glint is a key currency used for various things, including paying taxes later and also converting it to gold. You can carry quite a few commissions at once, and they refresh regularly. Every town has its own pool, and they tend to overlap. If you pick up commissions at Lionhold, then run to Winstead and Mirreleth and pick up commissions there as well, you can end up with multiple quests all tracking the same activity. Kill one Raven and you might complete 3 different Kill Raven commissions at the same time, stacking experience and glint. Whenever you're heading out to grind in a particular area, grab the matching commissions first. You're going to kill mobs anyways, you might as well get paid 3 or 4 times for it.
Many of us also recommend checking the Gathering Artisan commission boards before heading into the wild. This allows you to earn free experience and glint for materials you are already planning to harvest. If you're using commissions to help your settlement grow, we wanted you to be aware that experience is awarded based on where you turn in the quest, not where you did the work. You should collect commissions globally, but only turn them in at the specific settlement you wish to help level up. Additionally, commission boards expand as the settlement grows. Rank 2 settlements have 1 board type, while Rank 2 settlements offer 2 boards of the same type, providing even more opportunities for experience and rewards. Finally, we called out mayoral commissions. Unlike standard quests, these benefit the entire community by granting area-wide buffs to gathering, crafting, or adventuring. Number 8. The 8th most recommended tips were around player versus player combat, which means none of these tips came from me. I do not engage in such uncivilized scuffles. Therefore, I shall consult my notes, harvested from the videos of those who perhaps actually enjoy rolling in the dirt. First, the flagging system. You can manually flag for PvP by pressing Alt-F. I did not know that. There is a looting penalty for looting another player's death pile or ash pile. I did know that. Performing this action automatically flags you purple. You should only do this if you are prepared for combat. Others can attack you without penalty. You can also get corrupted when killing a non-flagged player's mount. And if you die while corrupted, you are at a higher risk of dropping your own equipped gear. Oh, and if you're attacked, you should flag up and fight back. Well, who said that? No. At Theory Forge, no. Penny says run. Run, Forrest, run!
Creation experience. Corruption is the system designed to discourage pure griefing and player killing. If another player kills you and you never fight back, meaning you don't flag up, there are heavier corruption penalties on them. They can go corrupt and risk dropping gear and materials when they die. On the flip side, if someone attacks you and you choose to flag up and fight back, your own death penalties are reduced compared to if you had just stayed non-combatant and got killed. The system is trying to encourage you to actually defend yourself instead of lying down and accepting the hit. So if you're being attacked and you think you have a chance, it is often better to flag, fight, and maybe die with reduced penalties than to refuse to fight and eat the full non-combatant death penalty. Between PvP...
I said we like I actually contributed. We also talked about avoiding griefing and baiting. Toxic players may intentionally dismount or run into your area of effect attacks to force you into purple status, allowing them to kill you and steal your loot. I did not know that. That is unscrupulous. To prevent accidental flagging and baiting, navigate to your combat settings and use the check, uncheck configuration for the 3 main PvP toggle boxes. This is a safety measure to ensure you are only engaged in PvP when you intend to. There you have it, 74 tips synthesized into 8 ultimate top tips from some stellar content creators helping you learn your way in Ashes of Creation. I'll link the guides I used in the description below if you want to check out their content in greater detail. If you are interested in a part 2 covering the remaining 74 nuggets of knowledge, then you must make your voices heard in the comments. The remaining tips include categories like archetypes, death, grouping, questing, starting zone storage, and taxes. Until next time, keep exploring, and I'll see you in the world.